Why do older people struggle with self-checkouts?
You completely discount cognitive decline. My mother was a test engineer for a power company. Her whole life was displays, indicators and problem solving. Now she can't use a TV remote. At some stage, self-checkouts became frustrating for her.
I'm mid-40s and I fucking hate self-service checkouts. It's not the concept of them, it's the implementation. How everything stops due to the tiniest thing. Like, when you try to stabilize your shopping when putting it in the bag so it won't tip out everywhere, unidentified item in packing area, so you have to wait for an assistant, sometimes multiple times in the same visit. They're a pain in the ass.
I'd say us younger folks are very used to bumping into new user interfaces, whereas older people are not. They may have gone through decades without having to get used to too many new things. So the initial response may come in the form "I don't know how to use this," period. Rather than "okay, here's another thing I'll just learn on the fly," in public, while others are watching.
I worked the self-checkout/customer service shift at a grocery store for about a year and a half during lockdowns. The elderly in general tend to not engage as much with technology as in not make an effort. 9/10 times an issue could be resolved by reading the screen, but that so rarely happened. Younger people in general had their own issues, so I'm not dogpiling on the elderly. I have simply found in my own experience that they tend to give up pretty easy when interfacing with the latest technology. This leads to pouting and childish behavior, learned helplessness. I'd often hear, "Well, X or Y person just does the veggies for me when I come through self-checkout." Ugh, soul being crushed.
You have two kinds of older people. The kind that tries their best and actually gets along with it, understanding smartphones a bit and stuff. And the kind of old people with the attitude, TSSK. We didn't need that silly stuff back in the day, so I refused to learn it and let others fix it for me. And they often not even bother to read things and just straight up say "I don't understand it."
I don't struggle with them, I simply hate them. 1. I prefer to use a human to check out. Why? Because if I have a question I can ask. 2. The stores are too cheap to hire people who need jobs. 3. Theft goes up dramatically, sometimes over 50%, in stores where it is predominantly self-check. Who pays for that loss? We do. The rest of us who do not steal.
It's all what you're used to and comfortable with. My first run through a self-checkout at the grocery store was embarrassing. Dozen times later, it's a breeze.
The directions often have ambiguities and are potentially confusing. They don't seem confusing to someone who has used the machine a few times. And usually not to the store's staff. But still. For example, the main display and the card reader at the supermarket I go to are a tad out of sync in the directions. The display says to select Finish and Pay and follow the directions on the card reader. So you put in the card. It gets opened, you remove it. Then the card reader says to select Finish and Pay. But wait, I did that 30 seconds ago. Does that mean the card didn't take? No, everything is fine. Just the instruction are inconsistent. Then there was the time at CVS that the machine wouldn't scan the coupon for a few dollars off. It took the helper a few minutes to get it to work correctly. I think in some cases they get stressed and don't know where to look for instructions. I recently helped an older relative set up a new iPad, and every new step he seemed nervous he was going to mess it up and was so focused on the bottom 3 inches of the screen that he completely ignored the blue text instructions smack in the middle. Some get easily confused. My bill is disabled and only 37. But he generally can't do self-checkout. If there's anything neurologically wrong, it could be that their brain just doesn't register certain things. He doesn't have any reasoning skills or common sense. That's not the only reason. Of course, many don't even understand what touchscreens are or how they work. There are a lot of areas lit up. They don't know where to put the money. Some are low, some are high on the register area. I can see how it could get confusing. That's why my Bill doesn't use self-checkout unless we help him. It helps that he rarely pays for anything. Asked a similar question to old regular at our store and his answer was baffling. I'm retired. I'm done learning new stuff. For the rest of the conversation, he explained how he just wants to live a no-trouble retirement life and the world should adapt to his old ways. Use cash. No self-checkout. If PPL want to contact him, they should do it by phone and not texting. Rather than him learning new ways of life or technology. He seemed really enthusiastic talking about it as if he was waiting for someone to ask him. Old but not elderly. I'll reluctantly use a self-check, but prefer a person. I think with some older folks, they grew up with better customer service and a human you could interact with while you checked out. It was also built into the price you paid when you purchased an item. Now, the company is forcing the consumer to do the business's job. No customer service. If there is a question or issue, you're dealing with a beeping screen. The business is providing less service, charging the same or more, and it's upsetting. Then there's the stress of the situation. You don't know what you're doing. There's a line of increasingly agitated people behind you. You fumble with the thing. It doesn't scan right. It's beeping at you. The line gets longer. More people are annoyed with you. You look at them. Then you look at the error screen. More beeping. What do I do? There's no one here to help. More beeping. Longer line. More agitated people. I just wanted to get my insure and be done with it. Edit. Hit comment too soon. Added last paragraph.
If you have been doing something the same way for 50 years and then have to adapt to a new way of doing things, it can be difficult for some people to learn a new way of doing things, especially if they are not used to learning new things.
Vision problems also.
I think part of it is just a refusal to accept that self-checkouts are the future and simply not trying to learn. I actually prefer them. It's so tiring waiting in a line because someone has an issue with their card. And it seems like there's always 1 or 2 people out of 5 that have issues with their cards. You wait until you're 80 and you have to use the new quantum iris holography technology and then you'll find your answer. Tech moves fast. They weren't prepared to utilize tech as much as the younger generation growing up with it. I'm not sure if there's anything to do other than calmly and slowly telling each oldie the steps. Well, to be honest, I try to use modern technology all that I can. Unfortunately, what you refer to as clear instructions include terms such as enter. To us, that has always meant go in. You were raised to understand that it means to type something in. Swipe means steal to us. It is largely a matter of what we were taught differing from what you have been taught. And it is not ever going to change. When you get our age, the zillenniums, or whatever they will call them, will have an entirely new lexicon and you will get to be made fun of and enjoy the ever-present eye rolling. No hate, just fact. Be ready. Dude, my parents struggle to check in for flights online. It's a struggle for a lot of people not used to it. Just be patient and help them. I think they have a low tolerance for the self-checkout because they grew up with much better customer service. When every store has a different scanning system, it can get frustrating. Do I swipe, tap, insert? Do I want cash back? Push the no. If you push cancel, you have to start all over again. Patience is key.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.